All right, everybody, and we're live on YouTube. This is BUB'S Comics. I'll be your host tonight for the No Faces Comic Chat. With me, as always, is Metarog and DS Comics. Say hi.
Greetings, everyone.
What's up, everyone?
And our special guest tonight is Deadpool 2323. I was super excited to have him on, and he's on. So say hi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I didn't realize I was special.
Yes. So basically, what makes you special, other than what everyone else maybe has told you your whole life, so what makes you special to us? Of course, your comic knowledge and your impressive collection, and all that, and your great video content. But that in your videos, you generally do show your face, or at least have shown your face before. And for the No Faces Comic Chat, you are a special guest because tonight you will not be showing your face except via accident, which happens on occasion.
My video views would probably go up if I didn't show my face. So,
Oh, I've seen it. It's not that bad.
Nothing like a backhanded compliment from Roger to start tonight.
Hey, we're fellow Floridians. I got to stick up for my guy here.
There you go.
Oh, really?
So,
Well,
Yeah, speaking of that, I'm so jealous when I watch your videos, Deadpool, and yours too, Roger, when you guys are talking about, especially Deadpool, when you have like your local comic shop has like these awesome artists there for signings, and you're picking up all kinds of stuff, and it just seems like there's so much awesome stuff down there. And I'm so jealous when I watch videos of yours and some of the other people that live around you.
So I recently went to the Tampa Comic-Con, right? And my LCS owner was walking around and he was talking to some artists that he had never talked to before, and they all knew who he was. Now think about that. These are famous artists who knew who the store owner was.
Yeah, that's incredible.
His free comic book days are legendary. You can average anywhere from 15 to 30 artists at his free comic book day.
Which one is that, Deadpool?
Yancey Street Comics.
Yancey Street, and the one in Tampa.
The one in Newport Richie.
Oh, that's the one I went to.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I missed you because I was there.
Oh, I was there. I was there all day. You didn't miss me. You just didn't realize I was there.
I was more concentrating on getting books than palling around with the artists. But
yes,
you're right. That was fantastic.
So I was more interested this year with getting some artwork done. I got Graham Nolan to do a commission for me that I'm donating to a charity cause. So that was
good man.
He's Graham's an amazing guy. He gave me a great price on it. Once he found out I was doing it for charity, he knocked like 50% off the price. So
nice going.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Chuck Dixon while you were there?
Hell yeah, Chuck's a great guy, man. I talk to him all the time.
He's fantastic, man. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
I spoke to him for a little while.
Yeah, I got him. So the commission I got done was a commission. It was a blank Batman blank with a 3/4 bust of Bane, nice. and I had the Vengeance of Bane 2 book that I got signed by both Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan, and those are going to charity. They're going to be going to next year. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a fellow YouTuber named Gizmo17.
No,
all the stuff.
No, not me. No.
He doesn't do much with YouTube anymore, but he has a Facebook site that he does a charity auction on every year. And it goes to families to help families who are affected by sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah, SIDS.
So,
yeah,
SIDS.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm donating it to.
Oh, good man. Good man.
We all need to get on that. We don't have in my area. The artists are very few, far between. We don't get very much down in the upper Midwest of the South, upper Midwest, East, South, North. I mean, okay. I'm like up in the middle of nowhere.
Talk about geographically challenged there, gosh.
I'm telling you,
East,
but
North,
nobody
Midwest,
can find us.
What, you burrow underground to get to the South? What's that?
Absolutely. That's where they have most of the cons. They're in mole holes.
Well, I'm close enough to like the DC Baltimore area that I can get over there in not too long of a trip. But I don't make it over there too often. The traffic is just insane, and it's I don't know, driving an hour and a half, 2 hours to get over there sometimes is just not feasible.
Take the metro, man.
Well, I have, in order to get a metro that goes into to DC, I have to drive, at least an hour, a little over an hour just to get to the metro.
Oh, okay.
So I might as well just drive the rest of the way. But in any event, I mean, I'm close enough. I complain that I don't get to a lot of cool places or shops or cons or anything, but there's enough close to me. I just don't drive over there very often.
Okay.
I tell you, DS, I recently learned that Baltimore was a test city for some 30 and 35 cent variants.
Oh, I wonder who told you that.
Yes, it was great. I watched a very short 30-minute long video on how to tell 30 and 35. Yeah, it was so long that I didn't have time to comment or thumbs up. I was exhausted with all the knowledge I had obtained.
I do tend to like overdo things sometimes. I will admit that.
Hey, you're not the only one. If my phone didn't warn me, sometimes I'd probably have hour-long videos. People
Listen,
say,
go ahead.
People like to say I talk a lot because I talk a lot. So that's kind of why I started doing YouTube videos, because they didn't want to hear what I had to say, and well, it's captive audience on YouTube. So,
well, I'm glad that they funneled you that way, because I really do enjoy your videos and your recent one about all the different ways that you can find comics around your area. Great stuff.
So it's funny because I've mentioned this before. It used to be very unpopular. You kind of hid the fact that you were a grown man and you collected comics, right? But then the movies came out, and now everybody loves that stuff. You talk about going to con, and I work in a very alpha male atmosphere, and I expected to get a little bit of smack talking when people started finding out that I collected comics, but really, it doesn't happen. So a lot of times what happens is someone will ask me, how do you find comics? How do you buy comics? And through talking to that, I get ideas for videos. And that's actually how that one happened.
Cool.
So thank you.
Cool. Sure. No, I enjoy it. And that's why, if you notice my setup here, this is in honor of you.
Oh, thanks.
And your non first appearance key issues.
Oh, thanks, man. That's an awesome setup. And I don't think I have any of those. Well, I have Amazing Spider-Man 252, but I don't have Defender. Is that Defenders 1?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I'm missing that one.
Is that a Swamp Thing one?
Someday.
What's that Swamp Thing, Roger? I can barely see it.
Oh, is that glare? Is it glaring? Yeah, it's a sag of Swamp. That's not really a big key or anything. Just one I picked up in that dollar garage sale a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not really a key. It's not, first appearance. It's just like I think it's just a reprint.
Isn't it? It's like a 4-issue limited series or something, or is that an ongoing?
I don't think so. Let me see.
I had a couple of those at one point, and I got rid of them, but
I haven't read it yet. I just really like that purple cover and the.
That is a bad cover. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's it looks to me like it's a Bernie Wrightson art inside. Yeah, this looks to me like a. Yeah, maybe it's not a reprint. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look at it. I haven't read it yet, but I really like that purplish cover and the little girl and the mob trying to get to her. So
nice.
Pretty cool.
Well, neat, guys. What do you say we start diving into some of the topics tonight? Everybody on board?
Sounds like a plan.
Go for it.
All right. Topic number 1 is gonna. We'll see how excited the community can get over this one. We're gonna be cracking some slabs tonight, and this came about because I had won this in an auction, and it was it's just a 2.5, but it's CBCS X-Men 94, and it's CBCS 2.5 white pages. And I think I have a couple of reprints of this in some sort of collection or another. But as soon as I had won it, I instantaneously, I knew I was going to crack it open. I just knew that it had to be cracked open. It had to be freed from this mean old slab where I couldn't read the story. But it's signed by Chris Claremont, and it has the witness signature. So it's a yellow label, and it says signed by Chris Claremont on 10/18/2015 at Dallas Comic Con Fan Days. So pretty much every single person I know begged me not to crack this slab. But before they all talked some sense into me, I was going to crack it, and I was going to crack it here live. And so I told DS, I said, hey, you know, I'm probably going to be cracking this slab. And he said, oh, no, don't crack that slab. And I was like, well, maybe. And he said, well, I've got a few I can crack. I said, all right, great. So then we heavily postulated as to whether Roger has ever purchased a slab or owned a slab in any way, but we wanted to make sure that, you know, he could get involved. And so I sent Roger an email.
I actually have about 20 of them.
Do you really? Wow.
Yes.
We were shocked.
Because of the 30-cent variants, when I bought them on forums and trades, they came already slabbed.
Oh. See, that is a good one to have slab because it's a variant and it's a cover-specific variant, so it kind of makes sense that you would have that slab.
But some of these that I don't know, did you guys bet as to what I would crack open? Because I thought you said that you and DS had a bet going.
Well, we had a bet going as to whether you actually owned a slab or just set it and then ran out to try to find a cheap one, because we didn't think in your myriad of books that you have huddled around you there that you even owned a slab. So I was suspicious whether you actually had one or you'd said that and you went to run out and find one to crack, or if you actually had one. We couldn't picture you buying a slabbed book.
Yeah, not my
right,
style.
and that was my
for that reason.
That was my competing theory, was that perhaps that, and see, he figured you probably ran out and bought one, and I was thinking that maybe you got one in an AOK or something along those lines, you know?
No, I've never gotten one in an AOK.
Wow. Well, cool. Well, congratulations. So I guess you're going to crack a few open with us too?
Okay, yeah, but I need to know what tools to have.
Okay.
Flathead screwdriver.
What was that?
Flathead screwdriver. I just Googled it.
Flathead screwdriver?
Help. Let me say this first.
Will this do?
Yeah, that'll probably do. Make sure that you also what type of slab. If it's the old CBCS cases, then you actually probably, no, God, that's scary. You probably don't need a flathead screwdriver as much as you need like maybe a pair of vice grips or a pair of pliers. Something channel lock, something that'll lock in place.
Oh, okay. I think I have some of those around. Now, let me ask you guys something. I'm glad we got Deadpool here, right? Because Deadpool, you know, from what my understanding, you know, from your videos, you're pretty good at grading and things like that, right?
Hell no. I'm horrible at grading.
Just agree with me. Just agree with me on this.
Okay, sure. Yeah, yes. I'm the best grader this side of the Mississippi.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I have two. Let me see if I can get both of these in the shot here. I have two 6.0s here. Okay.
Right? All right. Not all 6.0s are the same.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. This one here is like a heck of a lot better than this one. Okay. So I was just wondering how you can call this a 6.0 and it's got like this fading and these rips on the corner, and it's got this like staining on the back and floxing. I mean, how can you call it a 6.0?
So the reality is, the better question is, how can you call the better looking one a 6.0? Maybe it looks better than a 6.0. So maybe the defects.
It's good. It's true enough.
Maybe the defects on that one are on the interior of the book where you can't see them.
Well, that's why I want to crack it open, because I just can't fathom that somebody could call both of these the same grade. They're just, to me, this is like a VG, you know.
Sure. So I've showed this before. I've showed this a few times. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm holding up my Hulk 181 here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get it a little close. Can you guys see the check mark on above the 7.0?
Sure can.
Yes.
Yeah, what's
Okay.
that for?
So that check mark means that it presents better than grade. So this book presents as like an 8, 8.5, but it's got some defects on the inside of the book that lower it to a 7.0. Now that's CBCS. CGC has it as well, but I don't have any CGC books that have that on there, and I don't do CBCS anymore. I only do CGC. But that's what was described to me. So the best thing I can say to you is I learned all my grading techniques from ETA Nick and his grading tutorial videos, and that's the best place to learn that I've found.
Okay.
He also has that great cheat sheet. If you go to one of his most recent tutorial videos, he'll give you. There's a link in the description to that video to a Google account that you can download a PDF. I think it actually might be a JPEG version of his cheat sheet, and I use that cheat sheet pretty well too. It's a great. The way it works is it tells you the best a book can be if it has the following defects. So it's a best case scenario. And, you know, most of my books end up topping out at 2.5. But
hey guys, I want to read this real quick. Tacoma Comics, shout out to him. He just commented, I need a check mark above my body. That's fantastic.
He's a funny dude. He is a funny guy.
Got some interior defects, I guess.
Yeah, I got a little side note about that check mark. CBCS uses that, and my understanding is the same as yours, Deadpool, that it means it presents better than the grade. A lot of times you'll see a sticker, like a little hologram sticker in the upper left corner of a slab that says CVA, exceptional. And that's what that means. There's a company, Comic Verification Authority or something. I can't remember what it stands for. But you can send them books if you think they look more presentable than what the grade is, and if it is more presentable than the grade, they will put that little sticker on it. And you know, sometimes in auctions people will spend a little more on a lower grade book that has that sticker on it because it presents better than the grade, and it's already slabbed, so presentability is key. So yeah, that's what that sticker, I don't know if that's what you were mentioning, Deadpool, but that's a company that anybody can send books into. If you think it presents better than your grade, you send them a slab and they'll check it out and they'll put a sticker on it if they agree.
I never knew that. That's actually something I didn't know. Wow, I just said that like there's not much I don't know. but anyways, yeah, that's good information. I didn't know that, and I'm gonna look into that. But exactly, for me, a lot of times when I'm buying books, presentation means everything. You know. Give me a 2.0 that has rusty staples and a chunk missing out of the best part of the book, I don't want it. But I'll take the 1.A that has a nice presenting cover, you know, of the same book.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a big point of contention among collectors, especially some of the, I'll just call them old school collectors. That's not an age thing, but there are ones that like their books raw.
I heard that.
Yeah, they don't like to have slabs or graded books, and then there's a newer generation or some just other collectors that like the slab look of the books. And there's a bit of contention between some of that, as opposed to sometimes a lot of people feel the book's overgraded. You'll have like I have a 6.0 that's got a full color breaking crease diagonally across the whole front of the book. And there are some collectors that have books raw that don't buy into the slabbing, that feel that book would be way overgraded. So I mean, there's a difference between presentability and grade. You can have the same number of defects on the inside as another book that has them all on the cover, and one with the cover is less presentable, and a lot of people are going to feel it's overgraded. So, you know, it is what it is. But
yeah, and that's my problem, I guess. Like I know that I resemble that remark, right? Because of the old school grade, old school collector. Yeah, I've been collecting for 40 years. That's true, right? So, yeah. You know,
you started collecting it too?
Oh man, you give me your address. You're getting some money, buddy. You're getting some money.
Hey, you're already on the show. There's no more sucking up left.
You're getting money. Okay, well, stay on the line afterwards. Okay, so again, when I see these slab comics, it doesn't do anything for me. I can't go in there and delve inside and see if there's a clip coupon or a ripped corner or anything like that. So I have to go by somebody else's opinion who I have no idea who they are. I don't know them. You know, I don't know what expertise they have, et cetera, et cetera. I know I've read the CGC guide, you know, site and who they are and all that, but I don't know them personally. So to me, it's just somebody's opinion as to what this grade is, and I don't know all the specifics. I know now they have grader notes and things that are. I saw a Comic Book Brigade put it on his video that they have the grader notes, but some of those are very vague. So I want to know what the comic is all about, not just the front and back cover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the old fogey logic there.
So yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, these things have become really valuable collectibles. Some of them, just a single book, like can be worth, you know, tens of thousands, you know, or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It ensures the value of it. It protects it. It gives it a concrete value in the marketplace. Some of these are high-end collectibles. And in the marketplace, with the internet being so prevalent these days, if you're going to buy an Action 1 in an auction site for $1 million, you know, it's nice to have a CGC 9.0 on that, although you'd never get that for $1 million anymore, I guess.
Wow, I was going to say, that's...
No, well, a couple years ago, that was the price. It was $1 million for like a 9.0 Action 1. But it's concrete value in the marketplace, and it eliminates all the concerns about, you know, buying stuff online. I bought a Hulk 181 online. I bought a Slab CGC copy in a new case. I wasn't worried that it was overgraded or there was some hidden defect or it's going to be damaged in the mail. I mean, I got what I paid for, and that's what I like about the slabbing. Most sales of comic books are online these days, and the Slab takes a lot of guesswork out. It gives you a good security and ease of mind, and it gives you a concrete value in the marketplace. You can't judge a difference between a 9.4 and a 9.6 online, but unless it's slabbed. So
yeah, I understand for grails of that nature. I do agree with that. I mean, that there's a third party involved, and obviously, you know, you're talking about insurance and all that has to be done for something to be shipped across. Like, I mean, I would probably fly out there and grab it myself, you know. But I'm just saying, for us normal, you know, 9-to-5ers who just want to get, you know, like, you know, a good condition comic, you know, to me, I want to grab, I want to hold it. I want to see it. I want that. I want the experience of a comic. To me, I would never get an Action 1. Well, you know, I won the lottery or something, but I would never get that because I could never, you know, enjoy it. And I'd always be nervous something would happen to it, a raindrop, and then all of a sudden $100,000 went down the drain.
Holy cow. Yeah,
and to echo that, like I totally, I'm transitioning to where I'm going from buying the 10 and 15 and $20 keys, or the mid minor keys, I call them, the $50 to $100 range, and I'm kind of saving my money going after the big boys, right? I've been buying some pretty decent comics lately, and I was nervous as heck about buying my X-Men 1 because I was so worried about restoration. I don't have you know, the knowledge that I've been portrayed to have when it comes to that kind of stuff. I've never bought those type of books. I've never looked at restoration before. So I could see for those big books getting the slabs. The first slab I ever bought was actually the one I'm going to crack tonight, which is X-Men 94. And I bought it because the price was right, not because it was slabbed, because it's a 3.5. So, which I can't figure out why you would slab that at that grade, but I totally understand where you're coming from with that. Like, personally, when I get a book, I want to go through it. I want that smell. You guys know that comic book smell, right? Not that brand new variant smell you get in the store today, which there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you like. But that I like that old musty comic book smell that you get. I think I probably smell every comic book I get just because I love that. That just brings me back to when I was a kid going through books, you know?
You're a kindred spirit, brother. You're a kindred spirit. I do the exact same thing.
Roger, don't you call that your miasma? Your comic miasma?
No. That's you mean my collection, the way it sits right now? Yeah, to miasma, sure it is. but smelling it, I'm smelling right now the Defenders 1 here. That pulp, that degrading acid. I mean, there's nothing like it.
It's a family show, Roger. Keep it together.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll get a room later.
Yeah, I think even on even if I liked raw books better, which I just prefer slabs, but I really like that there's a variety of tastes and methods of collection in the community. It's awesome, and I'm glad there's a whole variety because you can learn a lot more things than just your own little rut that you're in sometimes. But even if I just totally wanted raw books, I still would have bought a Hulk 181 slabbed for the Resto issue that Deadpool mentioned. And I remember not too long ago, last couple months, Reggie Simmons did a video. He bought an ASM 300 that was really high grade and sent it in. He bought it raw online, sent it in to get graded, and it came back like a 9.4 or 9.2 restored. You know what I mean? I would be mad too. I mean, but that's why I'll pay up a little more and get a slab copy of a Grail or a big book than a raw one because there's no reason that should have been restored. It's somebody who knew they were doing something dishonest, and it may not have been the person he bought it from. It may have been somebody back down the line. But I'm not paying $2,500 for a Hulk 181 and then getting one that's got restoration on it. I'm very comfortable buying the slabs copy that I have, and then knowing that it's been reviewed by experts and doesn't have resto. So I don't know. I like slabs anyway from an OCD standpoint. They stack nice. They look nice. They're just the grades. I can get all 9.8s, and they're all 9.8s, and it's something of an OCD thing for me that I just like seeing the 9.8s all in a row.
Hey guys, tell me if you've ever seen this. I had a buddy of mine at MegaCon. He was trying to sell his CGC 9.4 Walking Dead #1. And a dealer actually looked at him and said he believed it was a lower grade and that CGC made an error and missed a little ding in the corner. Have you ever seen a dealer try to do that before?
I haven't. I don't come across or have discussions with dealers in person that often, so it hasn't happened to me. But
I couldn't believe it because he's sitting there and he's trying to sell it, and the book's valued at like $1,400 or whatever, and he's trying to just get, I think he was trying to get $800 for it, and the guy wouldn't go above $500, and I'm like, damn well, you buy it from him, you're going to put it up there right now for $1,400.
Right.
And represent it as a 9.4. You don't care about that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I've never seen that.
I have seen that before, actually, once before. I used to work in a comic shop, and I went back this is before CJC, of course. This is back in the late 80s. But I went back, I visit my mom down in South Florida, and I went back to see him, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. And somebody came in with trying to sell a slab. I don't remember what it was. Maybe a Fantastic Four 48. It was something like that. It was a pretty good key. And exactly what you said. He said, listen, this is actually, the comic store owner said, this is actually, a different grade. I'm going to pay you as a 9.0 because they missed this defect. And the guy was like, crap, I'm taking this somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what my buddy did. He literally walked to the guy next to him and sold the book. It was hilarious. He just walked literally right next to him and sold the guy a book. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I'd never seen anything like that. Like,
that was the only time I've ever seen that. So I believe you, but that was the one time I've seen that. Yep.
So, all right, are we cracking?
Yeah, we're cracking. Let's start off, DS, if you don't mind to start off as our most experienced crack addict. Would you mind to?
Family show.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's yeah. So
this is not Breaking Bad part, live stream.
No, it's my understanding that DS, you like your slabs to kind of match when you can get them to match, and then also you prefer the CGC case. Who doesn't, especially the new case? So I know that when you get some CBCSs, you're kind of eager to crack right away. So. Explain us a little bit why this particular book you're willing to crack and what you expect when you do.
All right. I'm not a hardcore crack addict, but I do it from time to time.
Just a recreational crack.
I dabble. I'm a recreational cracker. All right. So I have CGC and CBCS books in my collection. Occasionally I'll buy a PGX at a good price if it looks like it's an accurate grade. and I will immediately crack it out and resubmit it to one of these other two. Well, to CGCs, who I submit to exclusively. But I have CBCS, and I'm cool with those slabs. I think their grading is great, and it's on par with CGC these days. This is Chamber of Chills number 22, which is actually the second issue in the title. And I bought this a few years back. I don't even remember what I paid, but I got a pretty good deal on it, maybe 300 or something. Super high grade. It's an 8.5 of a book from 1951. The reason I'm going to crack this, I'm going to submit it to CGC because I am on their registry. You can join a registry and register your set of books and compete with other people who have their sets registered. And I'm on the Chamber of Chills registry set. It's just a little gimmicky thing they do to get more people to slab their books. But I do it anyway. And, you know.
DS, believe it or not, I'm on there too.
All right. There you go. Yeah. So I'm going to get this CGC'd. And the rest of my Chamber of Chills books are all in CGC holders except for a couple raws. So I'm going to crack this one out. But I'll tell you, this is an 8.5. It's an old CBCS case. And just from looking at it in the slab, it does not look like an 8.5 to me. It looks a little bit lower. It's got a good amount of wear on the top edge and the spine. So I really think this is a little lower than an 8.5 CGC. But I haven't seen the interior. The back's pretty clean. That's a really cool back cover, by the way.
We can't see from here. Does it say it's off-white or white, or what's the page color on it?
It's off 8.5, off-white to white.
Nice.
And
that is always, to me, the most exciting part is the color of the pages, to see whether just how white is white and how, because everything else after they slab it, you can very easily see it, you know, on the outside cover especially. But all the interior stuff, you just don't know. Just taking their word.
Right. So
where have I heard that before?
I don't know, but it's true.
Some fool probably told you that.
Oh no, he wasn't a fool. He's a real nice guy.
I've cracked a few of these. I got this this pair of pliers.
Yeah.
Jeez, and then of course I've got the flat edge screwdriver here that I may have to use. So I haven't cracked a lot of these, but I've done probably overall total number of slabs from all the companies just in the double digits. So I'm going to try to break this bottom rim off with the pliers.
Whoa.
You're doing it backwards.
Step by step here, buddy. Hold on.
Doing it backwards.
Well,
no,
all right. I mean, well, I don't know what you're saying is backwards, but I'm going to go ahead and crack the edge of it.
I'd like to know exactly where you're putting those pliers.
Yeah, hold on. If you look at the so you got the old CBCS case, right?
Yeah, it's an old CBCS case.
On the bottom, don't crack it from the top if you can avoid it, or I don't crack it from the top if I can avoid it.
Yeah, it's got these little tabs on the bottom.
Oh.
Right, and there'll be a flat side, and then there'll be a side with a ridge.
Right.
So you see that?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to put the pliers, your pliers, you want to take them upside down, and that way you have the torque on the top. And then you want to crack it towards the back, or unless that's what I do.
Whoa, hold on a second. Mine. The whole thing has ridge on both sides.
All right, I know what he's talking about. I'm gonna put it on the front, and I'm gonna break it towards the back. Is what I'm gonna do.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
So that's, and I don't know that I can actually do this on the camera, but we'll try it. Yeah, that's too hard to do there. I don't want to damage it, but. All right, so I got the one, and we'll see how it breaks off pretty cleanly here, and then I'll break the other one, and this part will just come, this bottom strip will come right off.
So you just pulverize that corner there.
Yeah, I mean, I got it like this on the bottom, and I'm going to just bend it towards the back and snap it, and it basically, the whole bottom row will come off.
Yeah. So all I was saying, DS, is that I hold the pliers upside down so you get more torque on the top.
Well, I've got this high-tech bad boy, so this is the torque. I just put it like this, and it's plenty of torque in this angle.
All right. Can you tell me if I'm doing this right? If I go,
don't do it yet, Roger. Wait your turn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm nervous. I've never done this.
Well, watch. He's doing a great job.
All right, so I got the bottom row off here. I bent it towards the back, and it snaps off on the corners, and this comes off. and I put the pliers and apply the pressure where the little tabs are, and then.
Oh, so there's more to it than just that bottom part.
Well, on these old drop the mic. Hold on. All right, so on these old CBS slabs, they're really easy to crack because once you get that bottom part, they usually just open right up.
Just pry open the sides.
Yeah, but you don't even really have to use a screwdriver usually. Let me see if I can get this here. Yeah, so here we go. You can open it right up like this, and you can slide this inner well with the book in it right out. It's kind of hard to do as I'm trying to make sure everybody can sort of see what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I can see. I can see.
But yeah, so that comes right out. And this opened right up on the bottom. Once you break that little row off the bottom, it snaps right open like a sort of a book. You just lift it up. And then out comes the book in the inner well. Now this will need to be cut open. I'm not going to do this on camera. A lot of people use scissors. I use an X-Acto knife, and I carve very closely around it. I notice when you use scissors to cut in the open space on the side, it puts torque towards the front of the scissors, and if you do it along the spine, it'll bend the book as you're cutting up. And I'm trying not to apply any stress to the book at all. So I will get an X-Acto after the show, and I will carefully carve with an X-Acto around the edge along 3 sides, and I'll carefully get this book out. And I will do it from the spine. I'll cut open the spine edge and the top and bottom edge and pull it out that way. So it's sort of with the grain of the book. So I don't want the pages to catch if I were to cut it on the other side to catch as I'm pulling out. So I'll pull out from the spine and I'll do it exceedingly carefully. But this is what comes out. And the old CBS slabs are great because you just break that bottom thing off and it opens right up and you can pull it out.
And you can put it back in too.
Yeah, you can reuse these. I guess that's what you did with your Hulk 181. I guess I'm just going to put it in the recycle bin.
Oh,
yeah,
my
Hulk 181. So this case,
you just use the case.
And I have
for
this
protection.
2.5 with everything here. I wanted to keep it. So this is my Hulk 181 that came in this case, and I cracked it out and I put in a reprint, and then you can just reattach the bottom. And if you do it very carefully when you crack it, you really can't. As you can see, there's no real damage to that at all. And when I open my wells, I open at the very, very bottom, just barely slicing off the bottom. And then when you put the whole thing back in, the weight of the well itself holds it sealed. So it's back still closed. So.
All right. That's a good idea, Bub. I'm going to stick mine in here. My Hulk 181. I'll stick it in here.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
They're nice cases either way, you know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll just stick that label in with that one for my 30% variant set and just slip it right in there. I mean, is that inner well glued or heat sealed or what?
I think it's press sealed.
Press sealed
along the very outer, and probably heated as well slightly.
Okay.
But I just slice it open with a knife like DS does. I cringe when people take scissors to open the inner wells because you can see the stress all over the plastic, all over the book. You have to hold it really firm too because the scissors, you're fighting the momentum of the scissors as you curl it. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm with him 100%. Use a blade when you crack that open.
Will do.
All right, who's next?
I'll go next. Mine's
All right.
probably easy. Now, I've never done this before, so I am not the professional. And as you can see, I have an old CGC slab. From what I understand, there's not even an inner well in these things.
No.
They're not sealed. So real quick, I do want to go over this, though. If you see these books and you're looking to make an investment and they're in the old CGC, back then, guys didn't press books. So a lot of times, none of these books have been cleaned or pressed, and you can get up to a grade and a half sometimes if the book looks like it could be pressed and cleaned. So you could, that's so.
Hold on, I got one of those old ones. Hold on. Go ahead.
So they're. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm trying not to put my face in here, but it literally just pulls apart. There's nothing really in there that holds it together. So
Remember, this is all good entertainment, but taking care for the book is the most important thing. So don't worry if it's not in the frame. Don't worry if your face jumps in. We just want to make sure that you don't damage your book. So that's the most important thing.
So I barely put the screwdriver in because I don't want to go in too far, and I just slide it, and it slid right down and popped it. And I'm going to continue to go around, and it will just continue to pop it. I don't want to push it in. If it starts to feel some resistance, you can see it's cracking on the bottom there. So I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to go to the top edge. These old slabs are not as well made as the newer slabs.
So tell us why you're cracking this particular slab.
Because I want to. Oh, there is an inner shell. I didn't realize that there was. Oh. I want to read it.
Okay.
And it just
I have to tell you, this is a good man right here. This is a man after my own heart right here.
Oh, Roger. You know, I'm always looking for people to bring on the show that you'll appreciate.
Oh, man.
So just to give you guys, and I've said this in some, I didn't bring scissors to cut, guys, so I'm not going to cut it out on here. But my goal was to collect the entire X-Men run. Wow. I'm 20 books short.
Wow.
And they're all Silver Age, and none of them are keys. So I have all the keys, and I have everything from 94 up. And I read Giant Size X-Men #1, and now I want to read 94, and I want to read up to 200 because I've read everything from 200 to 300.
Yeah, there's that Byrne run is just awesome, man. I mean, it's just one of the best comics I've ever read.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about John Byrne. He's one of my two favorite artists. Yeah. Which you guys want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
Yes, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
All right.
Most everything on here is funny. Trust me.
All right. Well, are there any Neil Adams fans on here?
I love Neil Adams. I've been picking his stuff up this year like crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Between me and DS, I think we've picked up 15 Neil Adams books this year.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, I have about 20 or 25 of his comics. Yeah.
So at Tampa Bay Comic-Con, I got a commission done by Neil Adams, and nice. I can honestly say, are we allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah, lightly.
Okay.
Lightly.
Well, I won't.
I don't know what that means.
At least he asked. That was very polite.
I'll just say this: he's the biggest jerk off I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard. Yep.
So I walk up to him. There's nobody around him, right? He's sitting there all by himself. So I'm a big fan of his artwork. Like, I can't deny his talent, right? He's,
no doubt.
I walk up and I say, "Excuse me, Mr. Adams, I just want to say, I think you're a legendary artist and one of the greatest artists of all time." No shit. He looks me in the face and says, "Let me give you some advice. Would you go up to your girlfriend sitting on the couch, sit next to her and go, 'Baby, you're one of the greatest girlfriends of all time.'" And I go, "No." He goes, "Tell the lie, kid. They want to hear the lie."
Oh my God.
Now, the fact that he's calling me a kid, that started it all.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, this guy is really full of himself. Now, I guess I missed it. I've never heard that this guy was that pompous. But man, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So I asked him, I said, "How much for a commission?" Now there's a sign in front of him. It has a bunch of different numbers on it. And I was just asking him, right? Because I didn't know what to say after that, right? Like, what do you say after that, right?
Very awkward, yeah.
So he takes the sign, he puts it out in front of me, and he says, "Learning to read is a powerful thing." Oh, wow. Oh, now, if that's not enough, so now I feel like, now that I've asked that, he goes, it depends what you want. I said, well, I'm collecting, I want artists to do like like X-Men blanks, like a headshot or profile of an X-Men. I'm getting it done by different ones. I never dreamed he'd be in my price range. So I was expecting him to give me a number that I couldn't have afforded and walked away. And he said $200. So I was like, wow, I could afford that. It's expensive, but it's about the going rate for most artists. As an example, Adam Hughes was $1,000.
Wow.
So I needless to say, I don't have an Adam Hughes commission.
I'm sweating here. I'm sweating here, Deadpool. I'm sweating.
So,
God.
so I said, okay, well, I got to go find a blank. Now, me saying I had to go find a blank, I was actually probably not going to come back. I was kind of pissed off. But there was a guy sitting next to him, and I thought it was just one of his handlers. And he goes, oh, I can go get you a blank. What one are you looking for? I said, any X-Men? He goes, yeah, I got him in my booth. He goes, I work with Neil all the time. I go get you a blank. I said, okay, how much? He goes, free of charge. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. You're getting something done by Neil. I said, oh, thank you very much. The guy goes away, and Neil looks at me and goes, throw in a little extra for the blank. You know, we don't want to take advantage of that guy.
What? That's crazy.
Guys, I can't make this up, right? I can't make this up, right? I'm not that imaginative.
Oh my God.
Now, if that's not bad enough, I said, okay, I'll throw in $5, which I'm okay with, right? Paying $5 for a blank, that's about what it costs, right?
Yeah.
Neil Adams goes, you can throw in 10.
Jeez.
Wow.
Man.
I go, well, I have $205 cash. If you want him to have another $5, you can take it out of your commission.
No.
He said,
good for you, buddy.
He said the $5 is fine. So I pulled it out, 10 20s and a $5 bill, handed it to his wife, and I sit down. And his wife then says to me after a couple minutes of awkward silence, sir, you need to give me that $5. I said, I gave it to you. I gave it to you in the stack of 20s. She holds out the stack of 20s. There's no $5 bill in there, but there's a $5 bill laying on the table folded over. And I said, oh, it must have fallen. That's it right there. She goes, no, that was already there. So I said, well, ma'am, I gave you $205. I don't have any more cash. So he said it was free anyway, so I guess it's free. So then he comes over and he brings the blank. And so Neil Adams asked me what character I want. I said, well, I'm trying to think of which one I want you to do. He goes, well, how about Wolverine? I go, nah, I already have a Wolverine. He goes, yes, but you don't have a Neil Adams.
Neil Adams Wolverine. I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that.
So I responded with, yeah, but I have a really awesome Tom Rainey Wolverine. So I think I'm just going to go with Cyclops. And to Neil Adams' credit, he actually said, hey, how about a side profile of Cyclops blasting out with his visor? I said, oh, that'd be awesome. And he did it, and he drew an amazing piece, and it's at CGC, and when I get it back, I'll show it. But, yeah, so
Man.
If you guys ever have to deal with Neil Adams, he's a jerk.
Well, I'm going to Baltimore Comic Con at the end of September, and he's going to be there. And I've mentioned to a few people that I've got some books I may want him to sign, and almost everybody I've talked to has said a similar thing to you, that he's a jerk. So maybe when I get there, I'll tell him that he's the 17th best artist ever. If he wants to sign some books that are moderately good Bronze Age covers, it would be cool with me. So I don't know, we'll see. But
you should just go in there and say, I made this line, but who are you?
Yeah.
Hey, you say it's a line.
Is this an artist? Are you an artist?
Do you know how much he charges?
Yeah, $40.
No, 60.
60 for a signature?
60 per signature. You don't care what book it is.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. I mean, I haven't been to a real con in 20 years. So $60.
You're saving up for it.
Yeah, I mean, $60 for a signature from him. I'll bring I just picked up a nice high grade Detective 400. I might have him sign that. I've got a Tomb of Dracula 1 that needs to be cracked out and pressed, and it's in an old CGC holder, so I might crack that out and bring it. I don't know. I've got a couple other things. I may bring something and have him sign it. $60. I could get 2 signatures for $120, and then just submit them to CGC from there. That's how much this stuff. It's expensive, signatures, grading, all that stuff's expensive. But
it is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. And that real quick, that's my Tom Rainey Wolverine. But I have a Batman 251, the classic Joker cover I just love. And I plan on getting it pressed and signed by him and graded too. But I'm going to pay a company to go do it, so I don't have to stand in line and I don't have to be face to face with that guy again, because he's not worth my time.
Yeah, how much does that company charge for that? Is it going to be the same $60 or a little extra or what?
It's $55. because that's your grading fee, your signature witnessing fee, and are you local? You're local, right? To Tampa?
I'm
No,
not.
that's me. That's me.
That's Metarog.
Yeah. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's yeah, and then they may have a shipping cost. I don't know, but then you have to pay the additional whatever the signature fee is, which is $60.
Wow.
So it'll cost me 115, but it's a Batman 251 that I paid $25 for. So
I'll just forge it. It's free.
yeah.
That would be my logic. I'll just forge it. I'll put the 60 towards some kind of key comic.
Yeah.
Pocket it.
I went to a con earlier in the summer, and Neil was there. And it's funny, too, because he always drags his son along, Joel. So, like, Joel Adams is at the booth, like, next to his. So you got Neil Adams, Joel Adams, and I assume his wife and mother, whatever, running around. And then they had, like, a crier. They had a guy that was there.
Oh, my gosh.
Or I guess he's a handler, whatever you want to call him. But he was a guy there, and he was like a promoter.
Hear ye. Neil
exactly.
Adams is here.
Wow.
That's exactly. There was no line. He was in a regular artist row. He had no line, and he's sitting right across from Jim Shooter, who also had no line. So I'm guessing these guys probably aren't going to come back to this con. So
Jim Shooter, I met Jim Shooter at a MegaCon 2 years ago, and he's an amazing guy. I mean, we sat there. There was no line at his con either, but we sat there and talked comics for an hour. And he's just an amazing, awesome guy to talk to.
Yeah, I totally agree. I
so
saw the interview with Bueller, and he seemed like a really great interview.
So Shooter seemed real nice, but
nobody Bueller did an interview with Jim Shooter sometime back.
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah, he was really awesome. He really was.
Yep.
And somebody else agrees with me back there, screaming and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. I have 4 sons. I have 2 teenagers watching two in diapers right now. So
that's quite all right. I love kids.
Yeah, it's a family first atmosphere around here.
You got it. That's the way it should be, man.
So, and my wife's at work, so.
Oh boy, yeah, full house. Roger, are you going to crack one for us tonight?
Oh, I'd like to. Yes, I'd like to.
Well, go for it. We're so excited. I tell you. So.
You want me to fail, don't you? You want me to fail miserably?
No. I would never want to see you damage your Heathcliff #1, 1997 reprint, 30-cent edition.
That was 1991, by the way.
Anyway. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I see the little tab thing, right?
Yeah.
So put the plier right over that, right?
Yeah. We assume.
We assume.
Don't channel it up too tight because it won't.
So I just pull back like this.
Yep. Just like
slipped off. Hold on. I'm either too weak or
wait. First, show us what book you're cracking.
That non-6. It says 6.0, but there's no way this is 6.0. 30-cent variant, Amazing Spider-Man 159.
Now that's a CGC, so that's a little different. You don't have tabs on that one.
No,
we had all right. So you need to go the method that that Deadpool went. You need to get a wedge in there and slice it through.
One of these things.
If anyone else has any other ideas, yeah, that's correct, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Where do I stick it? In the bottom?
Well, that's a older holder, so it's probably pretty open on the sides, and it's just sealed at the corners. So you just want to kind of get that screwdriver in, work it towards the corners, and just wiggle it back and forth.
Oh, it is. You're right. It's totally open here.
Yeah, but the corners are sealed, so just pop the corners.
Yeah. That Deadpool did. You're going to do the same thing he did. Slide it up and down carefully, and then kind of wiggle at the corner.
Okay, I got one corner.
Looking good.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, this whole tab just came up.
Just don't go too deep that you hit the book, but otherwise that's
Yeah, watch your wrist.
This is not as easy as it looks, guys. You know.
No, go ahead and move up to the top corner. Right. Leave that corner alone and move on to the other one. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me reset here.
Now, DS Comics have put in the comments that me speaking while cracking was very distracting. and made things that much more stressful. So I'm going to continue to talk and let you know that you're doing a fine job.
It's open, guys.
All right. Woo!
Hold on. It was open. Now it's reclosed. Hold on. What's up here? There it goes. Yeah. That was not bad.
No.
Thank you very much. That was not bad at all.
Beautiful.
And this thing should just slip right out here, right? Somehow.
Well, no, that's sealed. You're going to have to cut that with a razor or scissors or something. I don't recommend scissors, but you'll have to cut that open with an X-Acto very carefully to get the book out of the inner well because it's sealed.
There it goes. That's it. It's out. Not the inner well, but it's out of the...
That's nice. Hey, there you go, Rob.
This is open, guys. This side is open. Look.
Careful.
It's open. This is open. It's open. Look.
Take it easy. Oh.
Hold on. Let me get the label out of here.
Keep that. I usually stick them in the book.
Yeah, this is open. It comes right out. Look at that.
There you go. Hey, that's beautiful.
That was open on one side, guys. I didn't open it. It was totally open.
I think that's a 6.5.
No way. No way. This thing is no way. Let me tell you right. Oh, okay, here's the microchamber paper, right? Is that right, DS? Is that what it's called?
That is microchamber paper, yep.
Okay, all right. And that's supposedly to hold off the deacidification of the paper. There's another one. So they're on both inside, on the inside of the back cover, inside of the front cover. Is there one in the middle too? No.
I think there's usually only one on each side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these papers, it said here, off-white pages. See that? I would not consider this off-white. This is like tanned. Look at this. Look at this edge.
No, that looks off-white to me. I mean, white pages are not white like bleached white. There's a little scale you can buy. I don't know if you have one. It's got like it's almost like a pH tester strip sort of thing, and it's got different colors and tells you the different page colorings, and you can hold that up to a page and match it up, and it'll tell you what's the page coloring.
Yeah, some pages are not that bad. You're right, but I mean, some.
But you know, in modern books, white pages or the white they use in modern books is white. I mean, they have totally different paper printing quality now, but for those books, I mean, a white page is not bright white like a bleached white. So those look off white to white. I mean, those are really nice bright pages you got there.
Well, all right, if you say so. I guess then my Hulk that I have, my Hulk 181 is bone white. That thing is like brilliant white. So you know that. If that's not white pages, I don't know what is.
That's awesome.
So all right, so thanks guys. Now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'll stick the Hulk in this old in the old skin, you know, here and.
Yeah, and I would also put in those sheets too, in between the covers and everything. Why not?
Well, are those any good? I mean, this thing's been encapsulated for 15 years or something. Or not, maybe not 15.
Well, it's my understanding that all that they're really doing is stopping the ink that's on the actual printed pages from bleeding through like if you have some white parts of the cover, then you know if they're pressed for a long period of time, it can bleed through. So I think that it's only to stop bleeding into the cover. DS, is that what you're aware of as well, or?
That's what I'm aware of. It basically absorbs color or acid and prevents it from affecting the cover. That's my understanding of it. I'm not an expert on the microchamber paper, but just what I think.
Well, get on the ball, DS. Come on,
if that microchamber paper, if it looks clean and white, you could save it and reuse it. Is what I think that it still has.
Hold on. Here I am criticizing you, and you're trying to do me a favor. Does that look white? It looks white to me. It looks pretty white.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say they're reusable. I mean, plus that book it's probably only been with that paper for what, 20 years, 15 years, maybe 10 years.
Not 20. Does it used to say on here? No, it doesn't say when it was.
Well, I mean, it would be like 18 years. I think they started slabbing. CGC started in like 2000 or 2001.
Yeah,
so that's a second generation holder.
Yeah, when did they start with this label? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's probably 10, 12 years ago. I don't know exactly, but I'd say that paper's still good.
Yeah, it's at least, actually, no, it's at least 14 years because I completed my set 15 years ago, 14 years ago. So,
it's my understanding that there were 6 test markets for the new cases, but we're not sure what the 6th one was.
Okay, Bob.
I'd explain it to you, but it takes a half hour.
Hey, listen, I would have normally take a lot longer. Oh, I think my phone is dying. Let me plug it in here. I think I would normally take a lot longer. I did the short version there for you guys, believe it or not.
We appreciate it.
So I went. I'm back. I went and got scissors to cut out my book, and mine says white pages. You guys tell me if you think it's white pages.
Ooh, man, it's hard through the camera. What do you think, DS? You're our resident slab snob. What do you think? What do you think?
Those pages look pretty nice to me. They look white.
I think for a book from the 70s, those are pretty white pages.
Yeah, I think they look pretty nice.
So,
sweet.
Congratulations. Can you move it over to the left a little bit? Oh yeah, those are much better than the Spider-Man pages I just showed. Did you see the Spider-Man pages I showed?
I did. These do look a little better. Hold on a second. Yeah. I got to do something real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I forgot to do that. Hold on. You're right.
Oh no, here we go.
Do that.
And there's the micro paper, I guess. So
nice.
And of course, you start. Hold on. There's a technique here, right? There's a technique here. You start in the centerfold. You start at the bottom, and you go up, right? Then you go to the back cover, and you go up that way, and then up to the front cover.
So many inappropriate comments
really
at once.
Good, and you go page by page.
Oh my gosh. Did it smell good, Roger? Tell the lie, as Neil Adams would say. Tell the lie.
They want to hear the lie.
I hear the lie.
I can't even explain. It's an ineffable quality here. Ineffable quality.
Oh. All right, let's see. We got a little bit of time left. Let's go over just quickly, or if we have to, we'll take a little longer. But but I was wanting to talk about grades and our need for a grade in an age. So, for instance, if you're hunting, a Golden Age book, what grade are you looking for? What quality are you looking for? It has to be a different set of standards than you would if you were hunting down, say, a Silver or a Bronze Age book. And of course, a Modern Age book, I would assume most people have extremely high standards for those. So, DS, we'll start off with you. What do you look for? What kind of grade number? I know they're not always going to be slabs you pick up, but what kind of grade, range are you looking for in each of the eras?
Well, when it comes to modern books, which I'm just calling 1980 and up, I really like to have mint copies, and if it's slabbed, a 9.8. And it's just because when you get to the 80s, comic books were well known to be collectible. They were well cared for. There was a lot of copies printed of these books, and there's a lot of really high-grade copies of all the books out there from 1980 on. So if you really want to set your item apart from the rest of the market and maximize the value that it's going to have as an investment, you've got to have a mint book. So I really like 9.8s for anything from 1980 on. Otherwise, it's just that's why I've got these two showing, just in case we got to this topic. These two books in 9.6, they're not so hot. But when you get them into a 9.8, collectors out there recognize the rarity of having these in 9.8. And it's, just slightly better than a 9.6. But the difference in this one on the right here, this ASM 301, a 9.6, about 150 bucks. A 9.8 is $1,500. So it's a huge difference just because there aren't a lot of 9.8s out there. The one on the left, the Batman, there's only 40 or 50 of those in 9.8, so that sells $400 to $500. So it really sets it apart from an investment standpoint. But really, for display purposes, it has no practical difference if it's a 9.8 or a 9.6. But I try to recognize the investment value when I buy a book like this. So that's for modern books. When I get into the Bronze Age, I think the best investment value is in the 8.0 to 9.0 range. There's, again, a lot of copies of these books out there, a lot of them in really good shape, but it's price prohibitive to get something that's in a near mint grade for some of the bronze books. It's just too expensive, but I still like a nice high grade copy. So I try to get something in the 8.5, in that. When it gets back into like Silver Age, it varies depending on the book, but anywhere between like 4 and 6, I think is a solid grade for a book from the 60s, really. And then when I get to the Golden Age books that I have, I'm just looking for something that presents well, is not restored, and is complete. And I've got, 2.0s, 2.5s. That's fine for Golden Age because they're so old and they're so rare and hard to find anyway. And, I just want something that's complete and looks great. And that's basically for Golden Age. So that's the main eras there, what I go for.
Now, when you say Golden Age, then not restored, then how do you find a raw book? Like if you're buying a book, say online, it's a lot more difficult to see a raw book if it's been restored. Now, if you're holding it, I know it's fairly easy to see color touch and things of that nature. But what do you do when you buy a raw book online in the Golden Age?
Well, that's a risky take, but if I can get some of those Golden Age books, like especially the pre-code horror stuff, I'll come across a raw one. I'll do my best to judge it from photos, and I'll only buy if I can see good photos of the book front and back and interior. I'll ask questions of the seller. I'll check their feedback. I'll do what I can to eliminate the risk. But, ultimately there's a risk. And when I get books, there have been times where I've gotten books that I have contacted the seller and said, hey, there's a little color touch, or hey, you didn't disclose it's detached at the staples, or whatever you couldn't, and I'll send it back or get a refund. There's been times I bought it while I was on vacation or out of town or from somebody else. There's no way to contact a seller. It's just I'm stuck with it and I took a chance or something. I'll go through it closely, and if I find something, I will sell it as what it is, and I'll be honest, and I'll try to package it with something else to get more value out of it. But you take a chance when you buy raw books, and with Golden Age stuff, you don't have a lot to choose from sometimes, so you got to get what you can get. So yeah, I mean that's just part of it for Golden Age books. There's a risk.
Wow. Well, that's good to know. That's really cool. I like that there's a definite range for each one of the eras. And then at some point, you have a low tolerance. It seems that your tolerance for the condition is rather low the older the book is. And then, of course, the newer the book is, it's very, very, very strict to where it has to be basically perfect, right?
Yeah, I mean, if the new books, I like them perfect because that's where the value is. And it costs a little more, I'll be honest. I mean, I pay more for some books than some people would think is a wise idea. But, that's just how I do it. It's not right or wrong, but I'm pleased with it. And I have some really nice books. So,
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Deadpool, what about you? Where's your range per age?
So real quick, I just want to say, to echo a little bit of what DS said, this hobby is all about what makes you happy, right? So DS, what makes him happy might not be what makes me happy, but that doesn't mean either of us are wrong, right? So it's all about you.
Correct.
So for me, man, when it comes to modern, yeah, I want the 9.8, but if I get a 9.6, I'm not like disappointed. Now I got to go try to find another book to get a 9.8. Like I'm happy, right? When it comes to the Silver Age, it's ETA Nick and Reaper Tate and all those guys, I've heard him say it a million times, not every 2.0 is the same. So it's all about how it presents to me. Here's what I want. I want it complete, and I want it presentable and no restoration. That's my guideline. So when I'm looking at the older books, because I can't afford to go out and buy a 5.0 X-Men #1. I wish I could, but I can't. So when I'm looking at getting these books, man, I just want these books in my collection. I want to be able to show these books off, share them with the YouTube community because I'm passionate about them. So sometimes I'll get a lesser copy, even in a an 80s or 70s book, just so I can add it to my collection, just so I can read the story. I can, you know, look at the pages. I can look at that cover and just be happy with it. Now, when it comes to if I'm looking, because I have started to buy to sell. I actually like the lower grade books better because they sell quicker.
Is that because the price is set lower and it's more accessible to
ability? Yeah.
Yes. So like, okay, so I told you I was collecting the X-Men run.
Yeah.
So the books that I have left to buy are all Silver Age. They're not keys. I don't care what the grade is as long as it's complete and presentable. That's all, so I can read the story. Right. But when I'm buying specific keys for my collection, I might want it. I'm going to try to get the highest grade one I can get that I can afford. But at the end of the day, if I'm buying to flip, I'm buying, you know, the lower grade ones. Number one, you can generally get a better price for it because, especially if you're buying it, you know, obviously not from dealers, but if you're buying it from collections and you show, hey, this is a low grade book, you can, you know, negotiate a little bit more in your favor if it's a lower grade book. If it's a high grade book, it's kind of hard. There's sometimes people don't want to move off their price. So, but if you're selling a book, I find, because I do a lot of selling on Facebook, so I find the low grade books sell way faster for the bigger books, the bigger keys. Case in point, I had Amazing Spider-Man 101 that was probably a 4.0, 4.5, and I got almost $200 for that. And wow. And I put a buy it now price, I think of 180 or 190, and it was gone in 10 minutes.
Wow.
10 minutes. And I had a buddy of mine that had a 7.0 up there, and he had, I want to say he had 250 to 300 somewhere in there, and he couldn't sell it. It took him about a week to sell it. He had to actually lower his price. So, but for me, as long as it presents well and I'm happy, I'm good with it. Now that doesn't mean I don't look to upgrade. So if I buy a collection and it's an upgraded book, I'll keep the book and sell the lower grade copy. But I don't really have a specific. I will agree with the newer, especially the modern stuff, the newer stuff. Like I'm looking for an NYX 3, and I've really toyed with going back and forth between a 9.8 or a 9.6 because the price point is drastically different. It's about a $600 price difference.
Wow.
But again, I can afford it, so I'm like, well, do I go for the 9.8 on that? Because it is a modern book, and there's, you know, it's easier to find 9.8s in that book. And so most people are going to look for 9.8s over 9.6. So from an investment standpoint, I think you're better to go with the 9.8s for the modern books. So, but from a collectability, for me personally, it's just whatever hits me at the time. I'm when it comes to comics, I don't always go out looking for one particular thing, or, you know, I like to hunt. So whatever I can find, you know, so I don't know if that answered your question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and like you said, to start off, you know, this is not, there's no right or wrong answer. You know, that's why we're discussing it. That's why we have this question tonight, is because every collector is going to have their own answer for this, and none of them are wrong as long as the collector's happy. Now, if the collector sits there and tells me, oh man, I'm miserable because I hate the look of all my books, well, then he probably needs to listen to this and get some ideas on how to be happy with his collection, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, Roger, what do you think?
Okay, well, for my 30-cent variant set, my goal is just to get everything 5.0 and above, and I'm like 98% there. I have a couple of Westerns that are like 3.5 to 4.0s. But I'm probably not going to upgrade them because now the price of a Western 30-cent variant, even a low grade, is in the hundreds, you know, like $400 or $500. You know, when I got these, they were like $50, $60, you know, and probably less than that because, you know, Metarog, you know, he always gets bundles and gets bargains and trades and things like that. So,
oh, sure.
But when I'm looking for a certain comic, you know, as long pretty much what Deadpool said, as long as it's complete and it presents sort of well, my standard is lower than Deadpool's, but if it presents sort of well, I mean, I don't like things like big chunks out of the cover. I don't like a bunch of writing on the covers, you know, even like that's why I guess I'm not a signature guy. I like the raw comic. I like the way it came at the newsstand or in the spinner rack or wherever. Right.
I agree. I'm not a big signature guy either.
Yeah. So, you know, well, see, man, Deadpool, we got to get together, man. We got too much in common here. All right. So I'm not a police person, but you know, still. But like for example, when it's a rare variant, like I have in front of you here, a Dazzler #1, and it's the black and white ad variant.
Okay.
And this one happens to be in really good shape. Deadpool, I picked this up at Yancey Street during their sale out of the dollar bin for, you know, what was it? 65 cents because it was 35% off. And I looked inside and it was that variant. So for that, I'll pick it up in any condition as long as it's complete.
Wow.
Because
Roger, we lost video on you there, I think.
Hold on.
I think you kicked the plug again. How many extension cords you got running to your neighbor's house?
Well, which neighbor? Because I got 3 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so 3. You know, so that would be sort of my answer. If it's a variant, or you know, I was very lucky, and if I could digress a little bit, I'm glad. DS, I've been wanting to ask you this for weeks now because I got this Captain Gallant. Remember I told you about that?
Yeah.
God, that glitter was awful. And this is from 1955, right?
Yep.
And to me, this is a very fine near mint copy. But I wanted to ask you guys. You see, this is the kind of stuff I like, Deadpool. This kind of obscure stuff.
You know, I've come to appreciate the obscure stuff because you just don't see it.
Exactly that. And so I picked this up at a garage sale in Tampa where everything was $1. Okay. And let me tell you, these look at these pages. I mean, there's a little tanning. If you look in you see Buster Crab. You see the tanning here around the cover?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, this book has never been opened. It still has that crispness of the pages. You know?
Yeah, that book looks to be in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, it does.
Except for that browning, which I think is just because of the aging of the paper. This thing is unread. And look at that back cover.
Oh wow.
But
yeah,
that's
amazing.
This is a promotional cover by Heinz, by the way. Okay. And so to me, this is like close to a 9.0.
Well, I think that's I can't see the spine real well, but I mean, from what I can see of it, it looks like it's easily a 9.0.
The spine,
Probably higher than that.
Not a tick on the spine.
I think you could probably press out that little bit of dip there too.
Yeah, I think you're way underselling close to a 9.0, meaning that it's like a 9.4.
Well, I don't know because it has this little this little ridge here.
You can press that out.
That's pressable.
Yeah, that's a spine roll. That I love finding books that I can get discounted because they have a spine roll. Ironically, a spine roll, well, it's easy to press out, but it also keeps the spine in good condition because that curved surface is harder to bend and get spine ticks than a flat book. So ironically, it keeps the spine in better condition over the years. But when you get that pressed out, that book looks like a 9.4 to me. I mean, unless there's something we're not seeing, but
no, the inside, I tell you, is like new. I mean, that glitter is off, but the inside is like new. I tell you, this book, 1955, this thing has not been opened in 50 years. I guarantee you.
Amazing.
It was in this thing here with that 55 promo on there. But obviously, this is a more modern board. But somebody put this in there 10 years ago, and that's it. So that's why I'm saying. But if this book was a 4.0, I'd be just as happy because you just don't see them. This is a promo from 1955.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I know that yard sale you're talking about, by the way, Metarog, and I had to work. I was very disappointed that I had to work.
Dude, man, it was like, let me tell you, I could have used you to run interference because I was fighting off about 10 guys. I was tied for the first one there. I went there early, and let me tell you, right after that guy opened that garage, it was like a a kids and candy store. It's just like a rush to the boxes.
Was there any great finds in there?
Well, no, I wouldn't say great because the guy knew, he knew what he was doing. You know what
All
I mean?
right.
Yeah, but I picked up some real nice McFarlane Hulks for $1. I picked up some.
You picked up some McFarlane Hulks?
And I think we lost audio on them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, I picked up the whole run of McFarlane Hulks there for $1 each.
Why'd you overpay?
Except for 340.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so if you haven't seen it before, I firmly believe that Todd McFarlane owes the entire comic book community an apology for how he drew the Hulk. Other than that, I think he's a fantastic artist, but I can't stand the way he drew the Hulk.
Well, I kind of agree. It doesn't look too good, but I was missing those in my run, and now I have Hulk complete from 120 something to 350. So,
yeah, all BS aside, that's actually a great deal because those books are normally $5 to $10 a piece.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, other than 340, which is really expensive.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's a great score.
I got the 340 for 50 cents about 3 months ago at an estate sale. So that was, and that is a 9.8 if I've ever seen a 9.8. It is absolutely dead square. It looks
Beautiful.
like somebody just cut it. It looks like somebody cut it like with a one of those X-Acto things. I mean, it's just amazing.
I got mine from Yancey Street for $25, and then a month later, I felt so bad. A buddy of mine gave me another copy for my birthday, and I was like, "Oh, thanks very much." And he looked at me, and he instantly knew. He's like, "You already have this, don't you?" And I was yeah, I bought it a month ago. It was in my last video. If you watched my videos, you would have seen it. And he goes,
put it back on him. Shame on him. Some friend he turned out to be. He wasn't even watching your videos.
He took it back. He's like, I'm taking it back. I want it for my collection. But this guy's like one of my absolute best friends, and
hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we lost the audio for Deadpool.
Yep, I think we lost him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yep.
All right. But no, but this guy, he's an awesome friend, and he got me an awesome book anyways. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I did see that in your video, by the way. But
oh, thanks for watching.
Yeah, I did see, of course. I see all your videos. Of course, I saw that video.
Well, thanks.
They want to hear the lie, Roger.
So you're the one.
No, man.
They want to hear the lie.
You've done what? 4 series of the key first appearance. You've done the ones where you do the hunting tips. You did the Comic-Con. Come on, I see all your vids. Come on, I'm not lying.
Yeah, I just try to do different types of videos. You know, it's hard because every time I come up or I think of an idea, or actually, it's not when I think of idea. I'll watch someone else's video. I'm like, oh, I got a bunch of ideas to go along that, but I don't want to steal other people's ideas.
Yeah, I mean, try to be but you do stuff that I don't see anybody else do. I've never seen that one where it's non-key first appearances. So I was like, I'm taking notes myself.
Yeah, I like that. That's one of my favorite series right now. Yeah. Oh, I take it back. That is my favorite series on YouTube right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thanks.
100% my favorite series on YouTube right now.
And that's what we learned from Neil Adams.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. Well, I'll answer my own question, but briefer than anyone else will. Basically, I look for 2.5s. If it's for my collection and it's a major key, I'm looking for 2.5s generally, 2.5 to 3.5 range. Complete if I can get it, of course, as long as it's non-story breaking, then I'm good with that. And that's just so that I can round out a nice collection of books and have all the books that I want, and then I'll be on to upgrading as they come around. and try to only keep one copy of any of the major keys and sell off the others on the way. So to upgrading copies. So right now my focus is just to get a low to mid grade copy of all the keys I'm after, and then I'll upgrade later. And basically I don't care, and that goes across the board for any of the eras, except for the modern, any real modern book. I should be able to buy that, in a high grade. Otherwise it looks like trash to me when a modern book is like bent and has like nothing but spine ticks or a rip in it. So I'm like, oh, this is junk. I'm not buying that. So, other than that, that's what I go for.
Cool.
So you guys, we've done it. We've wasted another hour and a half of each other's times, and of course the time of anyone who's been in and out of the watching. So I want to thank you all for stopping by. I want to thank our special guest, Deadpool 2323. If you're not subbed to him, sub him up immediately and watch all those videos that Roger raves about. I think, it's just a fantastic channel. It's a great, full of knowledge, full of personality. It's a great channel on YouTube right now. So glad that you agreed to be on the show. I was really looking forward to it, and I think it fit in good with everything we wanted to discuss tonight. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Anytime. It was a blast. I was really looking forward to it once you invited me. I was honored to be here, guys. Thanks for putting up with me, and again, thank you.
All right, thank you, and I want to thank Roger and DS, Metarog, DS. Thank you as always for being on here and for putting up with my antics for at least an hour and a half. I appreciate it.
Hey, you weren't too antiquated today, actually.
I tell you, there was so much good knowledge throwing around tonight that I just kind of wanted to listen to all of it.
I told you I talk a lot.
Oh no, it's good stuff, man. I've been super excited about this show all week. I couldn't wait for Monday night to come around and really get into these discussions. And I felt like it was going to be one of our most informative, and it's just so much good stuff going on. I can't wait. I watch the replays a couple of times usually, not so much for all the banter and stuff, but because I really enjoy hearing myself talk.
That was coming.
This has become the highlight of my week for comic books every Monday night doing this chat. Always have great guests. Deadpool, really great to have you on here. You have a lot of knowledge and an awesome channel, and it's really great to hang out with you tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it. Also, DS, I think every time I went live, except once, you were always there watching and commenting. So I appreciate that. I think all of you guys have commented on my videos. I don't comment on a lot of videos just because I like to watch them and then move on to the next one. And I need to comment on more videos. But I watch all your guys' videos. I appreciate it very much.
Well, thanks, Deadpool.
Thank you.
As I said, I mean, sometimes a lot of people will say, hey, you know that and you know this. Well, I know this and I know that because I watch the best and I learn from the best, and that's why I really enjoy your channel, because I know that whatever you put out there, it's top notch. So
I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, with that, we'll end it, and I thank you all for watching and for being a part of this. Just another awesome night, and I feel like the chat's really growing. And just so honored that you all spent some time with me. And Roger, there's a family show. I told you. Okay, cut that out. All right. Well, I'll talk to you all again. And thanks to everybody in the chat for participating, and anybody watching on the replay. Catch us live next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all. Good night.
All right. Thanks.
Everybody in the chat. Awesome chat, guys.